Welcome, District 30 Toastmasters, and everyone out there. I am Robert C. McKenzie. I am your host for this session of the District 30 Toastmasters annual conference, the Engage Conference. That's our theme for the year. That's happening this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Um, so that's May the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th of 2025 at the Embassy Suites Schaumburg. So that's right at Meacham Road. And tonight, we have a very special presentation by a very special Toastmaster, our very own. He is a member of both D30 and D103 Toastmasters clubs. He is a Toastmasters veteran of 12 years, and he is also presenting a themed presentation tonight, which coincides with our annual conference theme, Engage. Tonight, presenting We're Engaged, No Ring, Just Leadership Bling. I introduce to you our very own distinguished Toastmaster, Calvin Gibbs, DTM.
Good evening, and thank you very much, Robert. Good evening, District 30 family. It's a pleasure to be here with you this evening and giving a little talk about engagement. Engagement. I thought it was fitting that the theme for this year's conference is engage, because as Toastmasters, we need to be engaged. As Robert mentioned, I've been a Toastmaster for 12 years. And I still remember my very first Toastmaster meeting. As a guest, I walked in and I was ready to just observe what was going on. And then the Toastmaster or the table topics master asked for volunteers for table topics. I said, okay, well, this is a good chance for me to sit back and relax and enjoy the show. And then he said, how about you, Calvin? Me? Now, I was just there to observe. I didn't think I was going to be called on. So my legs betrayed me, and I found myself in the front of the room. And he asked me the table topic question, which was, if you could be any vegetable, what would you be? And I thought that was a strange question, but I blurted out without even thinking, I'd be a potato. And I went to go back to my seat and I got stopped, and he said, oh, no, no, no. You have to talk for 1 to 2 minutes. So add some more to it. So I started feeling myself starting to sweat. I had all these eyes, unfamiliar faces looking at me, and I had to think of something to say. So I blurted out again, well, I think it's cool to be a vegetable, to be a potato, because potatoes are cool. I mean, nobody expects much from a potato. It can be boiled, it can be fried, and if it's really a good day, maybe mashed and mixed with butter. Being a potato is a great thing. And I finally got through 1 minute and I went back to my seat. And then something wonderful happened. Something very unexpected happened. People started to clap. Yes, they started to clap for me. Even though I felt like a fool with my answer, they enjoyed the fact that I made it to 1 minute, the minimum amount of time that green light had went off, and they were applauding me. And in that moment, I found my tribe, and I have been engaged in Toastmaster ever since. In each of these 12 years, I have been an officer of a Toastmasters club, not because I wanted to, because I had to. I had to be engaged. I wanted to help the club members. I wanted to help myself grow. I wanted to see the inner workings of a club. And then I wanted to find out the inner workings of a district. So a few years later, I became a area director and had 4 clubs that I was working with. And then I became a district director in District 30. And that's when I started to really get the idea of teamwork. And teamwork, just like the types of engagement we're going to talk about today, only work with action. There has to be action to be engaged. For example, I've been married going on 23 years. And that day when I asked my wife to marry me, I got down on one knee and I gave her my spiel about how much I loved her, how much I wanted to spend the rest of my life with her, and asked the question, will you marry me? Now, of course, she laughed in my face, but after that, she said yes, and we were engaged. We would not have been engaged without that action. So tonight, I want to share 3 types of engagement with you and try to share with you how that reflects upon leadership. I'm going to begin to share my screen with you all. And it should see it right about now. Okay, very good. You can see it. And here we go. As Robert mentioned, this is called We're Engaged. No ring, just leadership bling. Now, I'm going to ask our guest that's here with us today if they could please unmute themselves. I want to ask you a question. Toastmaster Verma, what does engage mean to you?
So engage means connect, for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there may be, different levels of connect, different people you connect. It may be a professional, it may be a personal, but that's what engage means to me, to
Oh,
connect.
okay, okay, very good. Thank you. And Toastmaster Fireball, Fireball. How about this? Toastmaster Mona.
Hi. Actually, it's
Hi.
Mana.
It's what?
Mana. It's pronounced Mana.
Mana.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay. I'd like to ask you the same question. What does engaged mean to you? And you can't use these 2 as examples.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I think participation and
Hmm.
jumping in, and it's one of those kind of things where the more you put in, I think the more you will get out of it.
Absolutely. Both of you gave very good and very correct answers. There's a lot of ways to be engaged. Tonight, we're going to talk about 3 of them. The first one we're going to talk about is self engagement and what that means. And next, we're going to talk about team engagement and what that means. And lastly, we're going to talk about community engagement. So, yes, Elizabeth.
You didn't ask what my definition was.
Oh, well, I thought you already had participated in this, but I'll tell you what, I'll give you your opportunity right now. Toastmaster
Well,
Stevenson, what does engage mean to you?
it means committed. So
Mm,
engaged is a commitment to one another, to the item that I am engaged to, engaged with. And in this particular instance, we are engaged with our Toastmaster relationships. So it's a commitment, a
it
level
is
of
that.
commitment.
Yes, it is. It is definitely or whether it involves the ring on the finger, whether it involves being a member of a Toastmasters club or a district or an area, yes, there is a great deal of commitment which is involved. But not only that, in each of those levels that we just talked about, that we're going to talk about tonight, there's commitment involved in those as well. You see, engagement is the force. It's a force that turns vision into action. Okay? We all have things we want to do, but those things, those visions, take action to make it happen. Engagement turns those dreams into strategies and people into teams. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. But as a leader, whether it's you're in a club, or whether you're in an area a leadership position or a district leadership position, when you're engaged, you spark a you ignite a spark in others. That spark creates a culture of trust. I'm not even going to say a culture of trust. I'm going to say it fosters a culture of trust, of collaboration, and of purpose. Okay? When you are a leader and those people that you are leading trust you, you will see them catch fire. I've seen it many times myself. Engagement transforms leaders into listeners, leaders into mentors, and leaders into visionaries. It gives you the fuel that you need to face challenges. If you're a leader, you're going to have challenges, whether an officer in the club, whether you're an area director, a district, division director, or a worker in the district. There's going to be challenges. And you're going to need the resilience to go on and the humility. I've learned this in 12 years, the humility to grow. There's times when you're not going to be right. There's times when you have to find a nicer way to say things. And that is part of leadership and part of being engaged, that you know when to find different ways to say things, but different ways to get to the same conclusion. So let's get started. Let's get into it. Self-engagement. Self-engagement is something that I do almost each and every morning. As I stand in front of the mirror and look at myself, I ask myself, what do I really want? Yes, that is me standing in front of the mirror, asking myself, Calvin, what do you really want? And sometimes I give myself a pep talk. Oftentimes during the middle of the day, I'll give myself a pep talk. Come on, Calvin, you got this. You can do this. You're not going to let them see you sweat. You're not going to lose your cool. Let's work this out. Sometimes out loud, I'll say these things. Sometimes very silently, I'll say it. And oftentimes it shows in my body through stress or tension, especially when I'm dealing with some inner conflict. And we all have that inner conflict, if you will. We all have, remember the cartoon with the angel on one shoulder and the demon on the other shoulder, and they're trying to talk, each of them is talking into your ear. Well, that creates a little stress inside of you. You have to make a decision. Who are you going to listen to? You're a leader, okay? And this is all part of self-engagement, being engaged with yourself. Personally, I believe that purpose, my personal purpose must hold value. It's valuable to me. It should take priorities over any distractions that don't serve my growth. I'm going to say that one more time. My personal purpose must hold value, and it must take priority over distractions that don't serve my growth. We all are Toastmasters. We all have had things happen in life, and we all have heard people say they can't do this, that, and the other because of A, B, and C. But we also hear people talking about personal growth. We hear them talking about mindfulness and taking care of themselves. And for me, my personal growth is so important to me that when I'm on a goal, when I have something I need to do, I despise having distractions slow me down. I deal with what I need to deal with as quickly as possible so that I can get back on track on my goal and take care of what I need to do for my personal purpose. Okay? Another thing that I do on a regular basis, and I suggest everybody try to retrain your mind. Okay? We have a lot of things hardwired into us. Okay? But once you retrain your mind, things that makes you feel, things that you follow, things that you welcome, things that you trust, things that you learn and value and accept, you'll find yourself making better choices. You'll find yourself being better engaged. Self-engagement. A growth mindset is essential for this kind of personal engagement. Okay? Self-engagement or engaging with yourself is all about cultivating self-awareness. It's about connection, as I said, and it's about care. So, how do you self-engage? I'll start this time with Elizabeth. Elizabeth, how are some ways that you engage with yourself?
I have my time in the morning with myself and God and my journal.
Yes.
So
Okay. Yes.
that sets me on in the right direction and calms me.
Okay, thank you. And
Because
that's
I wake up with a lot of things on my mind. I've got to do this today. I've got to make sure I cover that. I got to do this. So I've got to get the right mindset in the morning, and I have to get that direction. And it starts with that mindfulness in the morning.
Same. For me, prayer is essential, but it's not just praying, it's also being quiet afterward. You're praying, but then you need to listen. At some points during that time, you need to listen because sometimes the higher power will speak to you, and it's not always in a voice. Sometimes it can be, as I look out onto my patio, it could be that little sparrow out there doing whatever it's doing, and it's sending me a message, or a leaf blowing, and I'm watching the waves, and I'm watching the birds out there um, looking for fish, and a thought will come to me. That self-engagement. So I'm going to ask Toastmaster Verma.
Yeah, so something which I have been consistently, or rather say, following, is I get up early in the morning and I meditate. Almost meditate, and I also do some kind of humming to listen to that voice of mine in a focused manner,
Okay.
which kind of allows me to, just gather myself in the morning before I, go out in the crowd or, go out for work and all. So that is something which, I consistently do. So I wake up at 4:30 in the morning. I try to, maintain that time, but sometimes it is not possible. But I try to do it consistently. That is the way I self-engage myself. But over the day also, kind of I spent 5-10 minutes just keeping quiet, looking outside, like you said, right? I look outside, out of my window, just try myself to isolate with whatever is happening, and then again
Okay.
get back. So that is something which I do.
All right. Thank you very much for that. And that is absolutely correct. Meditation, sitting quietly, breathing, or just simply be, tuning into your inner world without judgment. And Toastmaster Mana.
Okay. Well, I would say I relate to most of the things that have been said already. Prayer, some reading devotional, and it varies by morning, but I would also add that I like to get out and run, and that part of that, I mean, it's the physical exercise, but it's also being out in nature and really looking around and just seeing all the right now the tulips, and appreciating all that beauty out there. So a lot, all of those things. So I've done at different times.
All right. Thank you very much for that. And thank you all for sharing how you engage with yourself. Our next level of engagement that we're going to talk about this evening is team engagement. Team engagement. And whether you are in a club where you're an officer or you're just a member, there's ways that you can engage within that team environment. When you engage within the team, you foster relationships. I was a member of a Toastmaster club that was President's Distinguished for 9 consecutive years with all 10 points. And the way that we did that was by creating a culture in the club where everybody felt heard, everybody felt that they had a voice. We learned, we had fun. This was on a Saturday morning. And you know, Saturday morning after a hard week, you don't want to go into a staunch, rigid environment. You want to have some fun on a Saturday morning, and we did that. We had coffee, we had Danish, we had breakfast, and we gave speeches, and we gave great evaluations, and we laughed, and we learned about each other. A lot of those members, English was their second language. So we learned about each other's culture. We even had a diversity day, and we grew. And as a team, we became better. People that I never would have thought would have raised their hand to want to be president or any officer of the club was so engaged that their hands went up and they volunteered. And that's when I knew we had something special going on there. So we built the relationship with them. We fostered the trust. We fostered the inclusion. Okay, that's all part of team engagement and supporting others' growth. Supporting others' growth. The impact of mentorship and active listening also leads to building strong relationships. But again, the focus shifts to actionable outcomes. Um, Strong, meaningful relationships that have to contribute to the overall health and success in the club. So I am going to ask everybody one thing only, and just very short. Elizabeth, how do you engage either with giving motivation to a member of your club, or what do you do to engage in the club within itself?
I'm going to answer your question by encouraging everyone with what a member does in our club. This particular member is the Vice President of Education, what was the Vice President of Education. And in her term, she literally would use the second meeting of the month to encourage everyone as they were moving through the education program, so that there was a slideshow with, you know, sparklers and big music and a great big deal being made of everyone as they moved through the education program. So it became really an exciting time to see who was going to be recognized that second meeting of the month. And we were President's Distinguished multiple times in a row in this young club because of that innovation from the Vice President of Education. Recognition really went a long way. We didn't have to give that person or anyone a certificate, but we were moving through that and we were meeting our goals really easily because of that encouragement. So that was definitely some team engagement brought about by one officer making sure that everyone felt great about their education.
That's great. And that is so important. Acknowledging others' success. I mean, it doesn't have to be a DTM. It could just be a level finished in pathway, or a project finished in pathways. It could be a difficult project that they just completed. Give them some kind of recognition in that and help them support them. And that will definitely bond the team closer together.
Yes, it did.
Great. Fantastic. Thank you for sharing that. Toastmaster Mana, how do you engage with your team members?
I'm thinking about this, and
Okay.
I think there's room for improvement here. I
Mm-hmm.
was liking that idea of the encouragement as a VP of Ed, but it's great to get to a level. We're at a lower level of challenge to get people started in their pathways.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think I'd like to think of some ways to encourage them. One thing I actually did was I didn't know this, you could do in Pathways, is you can do the little, send a message to team members. So I
Right.
did do a couple just in thanking them for attending and participating in the meeting that night after
Okay.
I had talked about it. So I was like, oh, this is a way to just say, well, here's how I did it, but do encourage them too a little bit.
Okay. Another way, just real quick and off the top of my head, is you can go to toastmasters.org to the store. They have their online store, and you can buy a ribbon of icebreaker speech, best speaker, things like that, and have a meeting vote who would win for this meeting, and make sure that they get given something special for whatever they win. Maybe even put it on the club's website. Take a picture, put them on the club website, showing their ribbon or pen or whatever you give to them. That will definitely encourage them. It might encourage somebody else. Okay. And Toastmaster Verma,
Yeah,
are you
so
still there?
yeah, I'm there. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes.
Okay, yeah, so I would 100% agree with Elizabeth. You know, encouragement and recognition is definitely what I would do. What happens, you have new people joining, you have existing people. We talk about table topics, we talk about, icebreaker speech, we do fun activities. But it is important that, you recognize, you encourage, as well as you give constructive feedback, which helps the team members to improve. So that is something which I do consistently.
Very good. Thank you for sharing. Our third type of engagement this evening is going to be community engagement. Community engagement. You can have the best club in the world, you can have the best show in the world. If people don't know about it, they won't come. Okay. So you have to let people know that you're there first. I suggest really paying attention to your social media, making sure that you have a club webpage if that's possible. Update it currently. Keep posting. Try to create special events, themed meetings that you can invite the community to. Okay. Not only that, we as Toastmasters need to get out of our clubs and go out into our communities. Okay. Whether it's a community club or a corporate club, try to sponsor a Toastmaster event. Or if there's an event already going on, see if you can tag along and be a part of that. Be a part of a community event. Okay. That not only shows that you're interested in the community, but you're willing to learn and contribute to it. People will learn about your club. You can invite them into to the club. They want everybody, somebody's going to want to know what Toastmasters is about. A lot of people think it's about toasting and toast the bread and things like that. Perfect opportunity to share with them what Toastmasters is all about. Now, on another level, community engagement develops empathy and understanding. There's nothing like being in another person's shoes to understand what they're going through. And once you have a better feel for that, not only can you come back to the club and speak on it, but you can offer them the opportunity to come to the club and speak as well. When you find a organization, a business, a person even that you can invite to your club where they can share some of their story and you can help each other, that's engagement. That's the action. That creates the bond. That creates the trust. That creates the understanding, the empathy. It also helps strengthen communication and teamwork because that communication will involve collaborating with diverse groups of people you don't know, people that you may not have ever dealt with before. It also is going to give you or give the people that's engaging with them stronger interpersonal and team building skills, vital for motivating and guiding others. Okay, community engagement. There's 5 things that I usually talk about. That's it. That's part of that. Those 5 things: develop empathy, understanding. They're on the screen now. Build trust and credibility. Strengthens communication and teamwork. Number 4, inspires and mobilizes others and promotes vision of inclusive growth. Okay. And there's a bonus to that as well. It enhances your personal growth and your fulfillment. A lot of people don't think about that, but giving back to a community provides a sense of purpose and a sense of fulfillment. I know a Toastmasters club I'm involved with recently, 17 of the members wrote a book, and each person wrote a chapter in a book. And then we marketed it in a public library here in Chicago. And the community came out. We were part of an authors summit. So not only did we learn how to market the book and talk like we knew how to write and edit and all that good stuff, but we became part of the community. Our book is on the shelf in that particular public library right now. And we are working on getting another invitation to this year's authors summit as well. So it definitely enhances personal growth and fulfillment. And then there is this part, which is examples of community service. There's youth leadership programs, school presentations. Yes, you can ask a school if you can come in and do a speech, a program, a workshop on on youth leadership. You can talk about Toastmasters, perhaps, gavel clubs for the kids. That's what Toastmaster is. For the students, it's called the Gavel Club. And you can support underserved communities that way by giving free workshops, volunteering at local events, empowering new speakers, mentoring, coaching. And you can even have a speech contest in your club that's not a district or Toastmasters sponsored event. That would definitely get um, the what's the word, what's the word I'm looking for when you the competitive juices in the club that will get going if you can have a speech contest that is just within the club and you can give out some kind of prize, some kind of award, even if it's a $5 or $10 gift card to a local restaurant, a coffee or something like that. Have them compete, have them give an evaluation, get better. There's a lot of ways that we can do things better. Okay. And we can invite the community to be a part of that as well. The community could be your judges, or you give them the rules and regulations, let somebody else judge. Guess what? You just invited them into your world. So now I want you all to reflect on how you can deepen your engagement with Toastmasters and beyond. Ready, set, and go. Reflect on how you can deepen your engagement with Toastmasters, your clubs, yourself, and beyond. So, the 3 levels of engagement we talked about this evening: self engagement, team engagement, and community engagement. I hope this talk has given you all something to go back to the club and think about. I believe this is going to be posted also on the District 30 YouTube site. And of course, if there's anything I can do for you or your club or your organization, I am a professional speaker, consultant, and trainer. In a few weeks, I'm going to launch my streaming TV show. It's been a journey, but Born to Speak to You TV is coming soon to DFN TV network. And my QR code is there. You can scan that, and it will take you to my website. I want to thank you all for listening. Robert, how am I doing with time?
You are perfect timing, and I want to thank you. Oh, you can't see me. There we are. Perfect timing, Calvin. And I want to just give you a round of applause. Everyone, let's give Calvin a round of applause. Soon to be accredited speaker. You saw his website and speaking and consulting services. Born to Speak to You TV is coming on the way. So please keep us engaged with the things that you're doing. Wonderful presentation, timeless presentation, and truly every Toastmaster in Toastmasters globally needs to hear your message today. Uh, with that being said, I will. Did we want to have any questions, Q&A by the Toastmasters that are here live? Uh, Toastmaster Verma, Toastmaster Fireball.
Mm, I mean,
Did you have?
it was a very well presentation. Uh, you know, definitely we came to know a lot of insights about the team engagement, self engagement, and community engagement. So I am good, and yeah, thank you for arranging for this presentation.
All right,
And
thank you.
thank you. Yeah, thank you.
A lot of
And
information, so I'm very good. Thank you.
fantastic. Thank you for your comments and for your live attendance. We appreciate that. Uh, I'm going to encourage everyone, if you can, within the sound of our voice, to uh, catch us live at the annual District 30 conference, May 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. That's happening here uh, in the upcoming week. And uh, we look forward to you uh, following, liking, and sharing, as will be on the district's YouTube channel and Facebook channel also. With that being said, we'd like to thank you again, Calvin Gibbs. We look forward to much more from you. We always love to hear from you. And we want to thank everyone for joining tonight. Everyone, have a good night. Take care.
Thank you.